I had this experience recently that I'm going to tell you about, but let me ask you this question first. How much time at our age do you spend contemplating your goals, ambitions, or even grabbing onto like a new dream in your life that excites you? That's a question I have for you. It's a question I had for myself too, and I've been thinking about it for a while because we had a get together at our house, and it was about 20 or so people, and the age group was basically around my age, 60s, and then also a younger, like around 18, 19. And we just naturally migrated into our own little conversation areas. And I was kind of going around, doing the hostess thing and joining mostly the adult conversation, but sometimes pitching in on the kids' conversation. I say kids loosely, young adults. And I was noticing something about our conversations. The adults, in our 60s, were talking about, oh, I don't know how to describe it, like more mundane things, everyday type of things, and, gas prices, weather, the food, their health, all of that. Practical daily things. And the kids, the young adults, were talking about like hopes, dreams, plans, goals for, the immediate future and the distant, future. And there was just a qualitative difference between the conversations. And here's what I was thinking, and I wanted to talk to you about it, which is it seems like that dreaming, like dreaming is more relegated to the youth in our world. And as we get older, we're just circling around with what we already have, right? We're maintaining what we already have, but we put less and less energy into exciting plans, goals for the future, ambitions, and all of that. So that was the conclusion I had, and I just have been sitting on it for a while thinking about how that's probably not the best thing. Now, of course, it's generalizations, but for the most part, I say that a lot, but it's true. For the most part, I believe that that is the truth when I think about all of the older and younger people that I've talked to and analyze my own life. So as you have gotten older, approached empty nest, retirement, and all of that, have you let go of some of your personal dreams and fulfilling ideas? Do you, in general, feel like it's just getting a little bit too late? Do you feel like you don't have the confidence or the physical skills or the emotional skills to set new things in front of you? I don't know. Maybe it's just about the length of our life left. Maybe as young adults, they have, 60, 70 years, so of course they're going to be future focused. I don't know. It seems normal. I don't have a judgment about it, but I do know something that with a lack of ambition, or that's probably not the right word, but a lack of a goal, an exciting future plans, stretching ourselves in that way, the world can become smaller and smaller and not necessarily a great thing. I think about my dad, who's in his early 80s. And, he has his share of health issues, but he's pretty, robust still. And he is constantly making plans, sometimes really grand plans that I think, oh, that's never going to happen. That was way out there. But I never correct him because it's what keeps him vital, robust, and alive. And, he gets his drawing stuff out and he's got his blueprints and he's designing a house and he's got all of these plans for the future that go 10, 15 years out. And he's so excited about it. And then he picks up something else and he does. And who am I to say, really, 15 years out? I don't know if you're going to, or do you have the energy? Do you have the time? Do you have the money? No, dream, continue to dream. I see it as something that keeps him alive and excited and invested in life. And I was wondering, did I inherit that quality or not? I am not sure. I am not sure if I did or not, but I do know, well, looking at my dad and other older people who have held on to that tendency to develop goals and be forward looking into their future are in general healthier, and it gives them a structure, a purpose, meaning, an emotional direction in their life. And the absence of that can feel quite aimless. And I've said this before, that I am a recent empty nester and semi-retired, and I am committed to doing the last years of my life differently than I did the first 2/3, right? Like, I want to not repeat mistakes. I want to contribute more to this world, and I've got to believe that you share that same view. Like, why would we wanna keep circling around the same issues that are unresolved? Let's resolve our issues. Let's, move forward and contribute in this world. Let's not make the same mistakes. And this topic seemed like right in that niche where I want to stop managing just what I have day to day, but to start thinking about exciting things in the future and not talk myself out of them. That is part of the, I guess, downfall of wisdom and life experiences. We know how hard life can be, and I think we tend to be too realistic. That's the difference between when I talk to young people versus people my age and older, is we've lived enough life to know that the probability of certain things happening or not happening, we know that it's unlikely. So we talk ourselves out of things because of all of the competing factors. Whereas kids don't know any of that and they just jump into the deep end. They cannonball in with all their hopes and dreams guiding them, as opposed to like us with our logic and practicality guiding us. And I don't know if that's always the best thing. I think sometimes we're too wise. We know too much. Let's let that go a little bit. Let's dream, let's strive, let's look to the future. And it doesn't have to be, massively big. It can be like starting this YouTube channel. This is a dream of mine. And it's vulnerable, and it's feels risky, and I'm learning so much every day, and I'm just loving it. That's like forward thinking. And I want to keep applying that to other areas of my life because it makes me feel alive. So I want to know where you're at with this. Have you made this observation before in terms of forward thinking, setting goals, having dreams as an older person? And are you good at that? Or do you need to incorporate more things like that into your lives? I would love to hear from you. The comment section and the conversations that start are only as exciting as what you contribute. So we can start developing a community and sharing our wisdom. We've lived through all of these years. We have a lot to contribute. I know that. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to hear what you think about this topic, and go enjoy the rest of your day.